Let's go 146 million, 1.5 million hard in 30 days. Tell them 29 days. Make it 29 days. One day better than the other guy. And tell them there's one decision maker involved. And I'm it.
146, 1.5 hard in 29 days.
Right. And it includes the 2.2 acres.
And we're live, Grant, so you're negotiating live online.
Oh, let's go, man. Let's go, man. What's the best show you've ever had?
Huh?
What's the best show you've ever had?
Jules Trump.
And he didn't do a $146 million deal on the show, did he?
No, he did not. But we got rained on, and he kept going straight through it, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
So
okay.
let me drop my mic.
It's raining on me, too. It's raining on me.
Grant, a year in the making.
What?
A year. So let me tell you the story.
Dude, what takes you so long to close?
I got you connected to Amir with Jared.
Yeah.
Jared
That was awesome.
Show.
I really enjoyed it.
I had to land on the show. So when this came up, I go to Amir. I go, dude, why don't you have Grant speaking at Real Deal? He's like, I don't know anybody over there. I'm like, what you talking about? Connect you with Jared. He's number one guy.
Yeah.
So I text Jared. Are you interested? He goes, connect us. So
You're the connector right here, man.
So then I go to Jared. I'm like, can we finally get Grant on the show?
The Real Deal became the Real Deal.
It did. Well, thanks for coming, man. That's why you're here. I appreciate it. All right. I got 9 questions, 15, 20 minutes. I know
why
you're rocking and
9,
rolling.
man? We should have 10 questions, shouldn't we?
Well,
10x, 10 questions for the 10x.
Well, some of them are multi-part, so we'll see how they go.
Okay.
All right, you ready? Now, Grant, I think, man, this is a fucking year in the making. Pardon my French. I'm happy we made it happen.
Yeah.
Persistence, consistent.
Why do the French get blamed for all the cursing though on the planet?
I don't know, man.
You know?
Well, let me do the introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Alex Vidal. I am president of Related ISG International Realty and host of the show you're watching today, episode number 76 weeks in a row of The Closer Club.
When I graduated from high school in 1976.
No shit. I was born in 78. So, and we a
year in the making. Dude, I was getting out of high school and you weren't even born yet.
No.
That is insane.
Yeah,
That's
it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
So I think everybody in my audience knows who Grant Cardone is.
I hope so. I hope you guys know me. Please say something about me if you know me.
In a 30-second minute overview, how did you go from being born in Louisiana to becoming Uncle G? Because everybody knows you.
You know, a lot of work, man. A lot of work, and it's been my purpose line to help people, to contribute, to give back. When I was 10 years old, my dad died. I wanted an uncle. I wanted an uncle to step in. And he didn't.
Yeah.
So when Kiyosaki's got this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know if there was actually a rich dad or a poor dad. That could have been a metaphor or something. I don't know. I don't know the whole story. But I know when I read that book, I'm like, wow, if that's true, if there is actually a rich dad and a poor dad, all I wanted was a dad. I just wanted a mentor. And when my dad died, like it becomes once you accept that it's permanent, that death is permanent.
Yeah.
Then I looked for my uncles, and I had 3 uncles, and this is the whole Uncle G thing. This is how
I love it. I didn't know this.
Yeah. So I had Uncle J.E., Uncle Paul, and Uncle Vincent.
Okay.
All completely different people. One was an entrepreneur, one was a engineer at the plant, and the other one was a bus driver and a poker dealer.
Okay.
And I was like, one of these dudes has to step up and help me. One of these 3 guys is going to have to fill in the spot of my dad. I turned 11, they didn't show up. I turned 12, no show. 13, no show. 14, I'm 15, 16 years old. I'm like, there's nobody coming for you, dude. Nobody's going to help you. And so when I was 16 years old, I was so angry about this because I lost my dad and nobody came in, right? And I wanted mentorship. And so badly, dude. I think a lot of people want somebody I went to school to get that. I went to college. Sure. I spent 5 years in college thinking I was going to find the professor that was going to mentor me. And they never showed up. So I remember being 16 years old. I said, one day I'm going to become really successful and I'm going to be the uncle to others.
Got it.
That never came to help me.
So
today I'm Uncle. People call me. I told that story one time, dude. And Uncle G,
that's where it came from.
That's where it came. People started saying, "You're my uncle, dude. You're my uncle. You're my good uncle." I said, "Yeah, I don't want to be confused with the bad uncle that touches you." So that's where that whole thing started.
That's awesome.
And I kind of didn't want it. Like I was like, "Well, what are we doing here? Like this is a weird vibe." And I'm like, "Hey, lean into it, man."
So instead of rejecting it, you embraced it.
Yeah, because I wanted the same thing, and I understand how people want. Jared that works for me that you hooked up with. I told him when I got with him, I said, Jared, I'm going to do things for you that your dad can never, ever teach you to do. It's just because a father can only take a kid so far. And your family can only really get you so far, and then it has to be another person that comes in and says, "Hey, let me show you this other way to do things." It could be good or it could be bad.
No, I love it because we're going to do a lightning round, and one of that's going to be who you look for to make. But don't answer that. We'll save it. Sure. So when I was like 20, I'm 41 now. When I was like 21, I heard an AIG insurance commercial. So the biggest risk in life you can take is never taking one. Mm-hmm. So you're what, 61, 62 now, right? Yeah. What was the biggest risk you took on your path to where you are today, and what could the viewers learn about that?
Yeah, so that is the ultimate insurance. You know, the insurance that you want in your life is to take risk.
So what was the biggest risk you took?
The biggest risk, I mean, I've taken a lot of risk. I was just negotiating this deal. That's always a risk, you know. The biggest risk, I mean, I've taken so many, man. Like,
what's your favorite risk?
My favorite one? It's probably, I was 29 years old.
Okay.
I lost my job. I was in an automobile dealership, lost my job. I was the number one most productive person there.
And you lost your job?
And I went to the dealer and said, "Hey, your guy's stealing from you." And he's like, "Mind your own business." And it hurt my feelings so bad. I said, "Excuse me?" He's like, "Mind your own business." I said, "Oh, okay." I walked back. I was in the used car department. I walked back over there, boxed all my shit up, and said, "Okay, I'm gonna mind my own business." Yeah. And I took my business home. And they crashed. That store crashed because the guy was stealing from him. He lost both his dealerships. Okay. But I was out of work. And I had two offers. I had a car dealership that wanted me to be a sales manager for them. That would have been a promotion for me. It was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was living in Lake Charles. And there was a training company. This guy that thought I could be a speaker, trainer, educator.
Okay.
And he offered me a job in Chicago. And I didn't know which one to do. So I had three choices: do nothing, go to Baton Rouge, or go to Chicago. So I went to my priest. One of my mentors was Charlie Dubois, Father Charlie Dubois. He also taught me how to drink.
Very Louisiana.
Yeah, he taught me how to drink too. and he's the one that got me. He taught me how to drink, and he also got me to the treatment center. So I went to him and I said, "Charlie, what do I do, man?" I said, he's like, "Which one are you scared?" He took a little flip chart, drew a line down the middle, and said, "Which one are you most scared of?" I said, "Oh shit, Chicago for sure." He said, "That's the one you got to do."
Interesting.
I went to Chicago for a year and a half and I learned how to speak.
And now you're speaking everywhere. You can pay hundreds of thousands of
dollars.
My
first speaking gig was 7 people in a room.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and it was completely orchestrated. Meaning the company I was working for orchestrated with a client, said, "Hey, we got a new guy. He's not going to know that this is fabricated."
Yeah.
Okay? My audience was fabricated. So 6 of the people didn't want to be there. They're like, they don't know. They don't know the whole thing's just mocked up for me to practice on them. One person, the owner, was there. It was a little round table in a room half this size. And Rockford, Illinois, freaking snow outside. I had never seen snow. I was like, I was out of my every element. Yeah. Everything was uncomfortable. So that was the biggest risk I ever took, man. And now we just did 35,000 people in Miami Marlins Stadium.
Crazy. So and the Marlins can't fill it up themselves. So let's go the other way. That was the biggest risk. Yeah. What would you say was the biggest mistake you ever made? And what did you learn from that?
Again, I mean, like, pick
your favorite mistake. Well, I love that there's so many, right?
There's so many mistakes.
Sharif said he goes 99% of success is failure.
I don't know if I buy that. I mean, you know, like in real estate, that's not going to work in real estate.
Okay. So what would
even I think of me and Sharif, I'd love to have that discussion with him on video.
Let's do it.
Because if I did that in real estate, if I lost money on 99% of my deals, if I picked 99 out of 100 deals wrong, I'm dead.
Yeah.
If you do that with money, you're dead. If you do it with marriage, you're broke.
You're divorced. Yeah.
You're divorced.
I have a great idea because you're close with Sharif. You're close with Bobby. You're close with Bobby Castro.
I guarantee I can get that deal, but Bobby won't shut up.
No, Bobby was on the show like 3 weeks ago.
I know, but Bobby won't shut up. When Bobby gets in the room, Bobby will start talking so much.
Episode number 100.
Yeah.
We'll do it. I'm on episode 76.
I love Bobby, by the way, and I love Sharif. That would be a freaking awesome
episode number 100. You, Sharif, and Bobby.
Can you come dressed as a girl, though?
No. I'll bring my wife, who's turning 41.
Okay, good.
She turned 41 today. It's her birthday.
Man, you don't tell people that.
No, she's hot as shit.
So let's see. The thing that biggest failure. Okay, so I'm in La Jolla, California. I lived there, and I was buying real estate. This is the mid-'90s. I bought 3 deals. I had bought 38 units, 48 units, 92 units in a period of 90 days. My first 3 deals, my first real commercial real estate purchases, outside of buying a house. which was a mistake too.
And
Even though I made a bunch of money on it. Okay?
No, I'm going to talk about that. I want to talk about that.
So probably one of the hottest conversations I have is whether to buy a house or not. People like it just kills me.
I'm curious. Yeah. And I have 3 prongs to that. So
yeah. So I was driving down the road. I had 3 deals. La Jolla is a low cap rate, very almost impossible to build. Their coastal commission in California is extremely restrictive. This is 30 years ago. You were 12 years old. Yeah. I'm driving down the road and I look over here and I see this I don't know, it must be 8 or 10 acres with apartments on it. Okay. Hey, can I buy this deal? Yeah, you could. Okay, good. What's the cap rate? The guy said it was like a 4 cap. I did not buy that deal because the cap rate was too low. I would have made $200 or $300 million there. I don't remember what the price was. I could have bought the deal. I had the money to buy the deal. But I made a decision based on the return's not good enough today. And
how would you look at it differently now then?
Dude, I would always buy a low cap rate today.
Why?
Because low cap rates with the right location, not when you're just being stupid, but a low cap rate, particularly in a market where there's massive, not little, but really massive barriers to entry, like that particular marketplace. La Jolla, California, you're not building any apartments there. It's not going to happen. It's not like the way they built here. When you get a location that is so superior, it's playing Monopoly. You're playing Monopoly. Like you need Boardwalk and Park Place to win that game, but you also need Pennsylvania or something kind of middle class to keep the cash flow coming, because they're only going to land on those 2 spots. You just gotta see it through the cycle until you land on Park Place and I bust you out.
So you look at.
I need a little bit of cash flow from Pennsylvania, so I need a combination, and I didn't get a combination. It was a big mistake.
So would you say the mistake was you just looked at cap rate, didn't look at any other factors? Where now you're looking at all the factors.
I was looking at cash flow. Okay. I was only looking at cash flow, which helped me a bunch. So that was one mistake, missing that deal. Number 2 mistake was ever selling any deal I ever had. 3, I should have bought more real estate than I bought. 4, I had a formula that was perfect, and I violated it. Like I violated not repeating it over and over and over again. And I see a lot of people do that. They find something. I've never built anything, and I never will. I let you build it. Yep. I let Related build it. Sure. You guys go through all the risk. It doesn't matter to me. Yep. And I just want to buy the deal. Okay. So now we're fixing that mistake that I made then, because now we're buying a lot of real estate right now.
So I'm going to skip away because I do want to focus on the traits that salespeople have, the common denominators. But I want to stay along this real estate line for a minute. So you talk a lot about renting where you live.
Yeah, rent where you live.
Rent where you live, buy investment property instead. So I'm going to give you the 3 questions, answer them how you want. Right?
Sure.
One is, why do you feel so strongly about that? What advice would you
want to do that one first, or you want to move on to the second one?
I'll give them the 3 and then I'll let you tackle them.
Okay.
What advice would you give somebody like me, married, father, 4 boys, live in big yard, I own my home, I got equity in it, and is there ever a point where it makes sense to own? Well, hold on. Boom. Is there ever a point where it makes sense to own your primary residence?
Never makes sense. Number 3 first. It will never, ever make sense to buy your own house. It makes more sense buying a jet than it does a house.
Even if you're worth $1 billion. Doesn't.
No, you're not making sense anymore.
Okay.
Nothing makes sense. Yeah, fuck it, I'll buy the yacht.
Okay.
I'll buy a $200 million yacht. It's only right, but nothing makes sense, right? So nothing makes. I'll buy a $30 million house, but it still doesn't make sense. The reason it doesn't make sense is because it doesn't make money.
Got it.
Period. It does not reproduce money. Money's dead. The equity in your home for your 4 kids is dead. So not only they got a good yard, but how much equity you got in that house?
About, you want the number or the percent?
No, I want the equity, the actual number.
About $250,000.
So that would buy $750,000 worth of real estate that by the time your kids are 30 years old would be paid for. So $250 would buy $750. It would be paid for, but you didn't pay for it. You would pay over the next 30 years. The tenants of that property would pay that debt down, and you'd be able to give that thing to your kids and say, here, one quarter to you, 1/4 to you, 1/4 to you. And by the way, you don't get a quarter because you got problems. So you guys each get a third. You're the black sheep.
I'm the black sheep. I
was the black sheep in my family.
I got a girl. I don't want to say a girl. She was my wife for a few years, but at 18, I got my girlfriend pregnant. Yeah. And I had a son at 19.
I was with her too. So
well, good for you, man. You took her off my hands.
No, I had it first, dude. You had
seconds. Well. Oh, that's right. The cameraman's
you had seconds, dude. So what I'm saying is, it's dead money. That thing is going to cost you $750,000 to live in a $250,000 house to give your kids a yard. So like it's a mistake. So I don't know if we have that Del Rey property. Your kids. There's nothing wrong with living in an apartment that you rent. I rent where I live today. Okay. I rent in Regalia. Okay. It's 5,500 square feet, 33rd floor.
Yeah. One unit per floor.
Yeah. Well, like nobody comes to my place and says, "Oh, you rent here?" I think less of you. So I rent where I live. I literally pay rent. I would pay more to rent than I would to buy.
Okay.
Like it wouldn't matter to me if I had to pay $5,000 to rent someplace and I could own someplace for $4,000 and have my equity and more importantly my mobility, the ability to move.
Okay.
Oh, I don't want this place anymore. Move. Okay. I mean, what's it cost to break a lease? 6 months. 2 months.
No,
whatever.
2 months.
It's 2 months. 2 months. That's the most cost I have, and I can move. What if there was a huge opportunity back in Venezuela? Let's say that economy recovers, and you're like, hey, we're going to take everybody down there. It becomes safe again. Money's good again. There's unbelievable opportunities, and you could go down there and make you and your family hundreds of millions of dollars. And you're like, I got this house. I can't leave it. So I don't want to be mobility, the ability to move, to be a particle and move to opportunity.
So would you say it's better should you sell, cash out the equity?
You should sell the house.
Okay.
Particularly in this market. It's
I
going
know a great realtor.
It's going to deteriorate.
Okay.
Housing is going to continue to deteriorate in America. It's going to become less and less desirable, just like owning a car will become less and less desirable. Ownership of things will become less desirable. People will, and you already see it. You see it in automotive leasing. Leasing is the highest rates ever in the history of the automobile industry. People are leasing by choice. Okay. You see this property right here? These people live here for $1,300, $1,500, $1,600 a month, $4 million swimming pool. Carl Icahn doesn't have that swimming pool.
Yeah.
Okay. A-Rod and J-Lo, they don't have that swimming pool. That's a $4 million swimming pool. So you'd have to have probably a $50, $60, $70 million house to have that kind of pool. Okay. So I'm offering that to tenants for $1,800 a month. Security that they don't ever get, gating they'll never get, maintenance. You walk in, call somebody, hey, fix the light bulb, fix the toilet.
So what about, so as a father, right? So I got my other one's 22.
There's 38 acres. How big's your yard? How big's your yard?
49,000 square feet. Over an acre.
Oh yeah. You got 1 acre. I got 38 acres.
I got a soccer field.
Okay, who mows your lawn?
The guy I pay.
Yeah.
$75 a cut.
Yeah, good. But you $350 a month.
300.
Well, you
cut it once a week.
Okay, good. So you don't pay any of that here. Okay. How many palm trees you got? How many palm trees you got? How many palm trees you got?
I actually have.
I got 150.
I got 3.
Okay, I got 50 times more palm trees. All I'm saying, I got a theater. How big's your theater?
I don't have a theater.
I got a 1,200 square foot theater.
Okay.
Like you can't keep up with this deal. Who takes care of your roof? You do.
I do.
You do. I don't. Who pays your property taxes?
I do.
Okay, I pay.
Get the write-off though.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. I get $100 million. I pay $2.2 million worth of property taxes every year. I get the write-off, but I don't pay for the property taxes. Like, if your house is a good deal, how good is that deal?
Okay.
That's 346 times better than your one house. And all I'm saying is, people that are buying houses, people that are in real estate, they're selling, just think about this. They're selling real estate to get a commission when they should be buying the real estate and getting a profit.
So I had a question, it's not on here. So a guy had early on in the show, is the number one agent for RE/MAX in the state.
Yeah.
Does hundreds of transactions. His name is Michael Citron. I'm like, hey, I got GC coming on the show on Tuesday. What would you ask him? He goes, I'm 41.
Yeah.
I own 16 multifamily properties.
Yeah.
But he's also the number one agent in RE/MAX, right?
Yeah.
So what percent of your time, he asked me to ask you, what percent of his time should he be spending on focusing on his clients and selling them real estate and buying real estate?
He should focus on, keep the main thing, until the secondary thing becomes the main thing.
Okay.
But I would never violate the first principle.
Which is?
Okay, I would never violate that first flow of income. Like, I would continue to hammer that thing out and understand every time he gets a 6%, he can turn it into 18. He's probably doing a split, right? Yeah. So he gets 3, but 3% becomes 9. See, the real estate agents now say, I got to take my 3, I split it with RE/MAX, I end up with a 1.5. It's not that you end up with a 1.5. It's what are you doing with the 1.5 so that you multiply it? And when he takes that money and throws it into real estate, into investment real estate, he's tripling his money if he's using debt.
Yeah.
Now, the 16 deals, how many deals does he have?
He owns 16 homes.
16 individual homes.
Yeah. 16 duplexes.
Okay, so good. I would package if they're duplexes, he's got 32 units. I would package the 16. What I would tell him to do is take the 16 duplexes, and let's say he's renting those for,
$1,000 a door.
12. Is that what he's doing?
I have no idea. He's in Coral Springs.
Oh yeah, he's probably at $1,000 a door. So he's at 2,000. He's at 32,000. I would take, rather than selling 16 units, I would put the whole package together as 16, rather than selling a duplex and then another duplex and another duplex, 32. I would put all 32 together. Put one profit and loss statement together for all of them. Put a staggering lease program. So January expiring.
February, March, okay.
Right. So the portfolio starts unwinding, but sell the whole portfolio, probably get a broker other than himself, sell the 32 as a package. Find a doctor or a lawyer that wants the income, fill them up, get them 100% leased, put the lease agreements in place, manage the property for the guy, and sell the whole portfolio. He'll get a premium for it.
Right,
He'll probably get 20 or 30%.
So he sells the whole portfolio, then what? What does he do with the cash?
He take that cash, one transaction, and he 1031 into a big deal.
Into a big deal.
Yeah.
So what do you consider a big deal?
I mean, what a win.
No.
Win in my career.
Right now.
My first deal I did was $78,000. I'm like, shit, that's a big deal. That was a mistake.
Okay.
Because it had one door.
So if you had somebody that said, listen,
so today, what's a big deal today? I mean, that $136 million. That's whatever I offered. I think I offered 136.
I think it was 129.
That's a big deal. I mean,
so,
but I should be. There's going to be a day when I do $1 billion deal, all at one time, $1 billion.
Okay. So for the people that say, listen, you have Cardone Capital,
yeah.
right? And let's say you're playing with you have $100,000. I can go either in Cardone Capital if I want you to handle it all.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to handle it all and you say, hey, it's my first deal, I want to control it myself. What do you recommend to that person?
You'll never make as much money with what you can own 100% of your own deal.
Yep.
And you could own a portion of my deal. You could own 1% of my deal, and you'll still make more money with me.
Got it. Why?
Because the deal, that piece of property, is what determines how much money is made. Nothing else determines how much money is made. Percentages, performers, blah, blah, splits, that's not what determines how much money is made. It goes back to this lawyer thing. When you find a jewel, that thing right there, we know we're in the money on that deal right now. Robert Gibbons was here this morning.
Yeah.
So that deal is irreplaceable. Okay, I put 10 years of debt on it. Nobody can buy it for the next 10 years. You can't. Just the defeasance inflates the property, right? So if you bought that deal, Bobby Castro bought that deal. Okay. Bobby invested money with me. Bobby, look, he's like, dude, you're buying stuff I can't get.
Sure.
Okay, so when I have a portfolio of 7,000 units, A-Rod called me the other day. Hey man, I want to do some deals with you.
And he's got his own fund, right? It's like it's not as big as yours. His is like 50 million or something like that.
Yeah. So he's like, you're just getting assets that are unbelievable, right? Who's going to buy that from me in 10 years?
Got it.
It's going to be, that property is going to be, that was 92 million. We won't sell it until we get at least 125. So who can write a check for 125 million?
Very few people.
Institutions.
Yeah.
It's not people. I'm beyond people now. I don't need rich people. I need institutions. They always have money. That's my exit.
Got it.
So when a guy's got $100,000, he's like, I'm going to go buy something. What can he buy? $300,000.
Yep.
Who's going to buy a $300,000 duplex? A doctor, a lawyer, a chiropractor, somebody with $300,000, some Russian dude that wants to invest some money, right?
Yep.
But that guy's money is always scared money. He buys as an investment. He's cheap. He buys on a budget. He only has $75,000 to put down. He can buy a $300,000 deal. He can get a little loan from the bank. He's budget sensitive. I'm gonna sell that to Blackstone or Goldman Sachs. They don't have budgets.
So what? Yeah.
Their biggest problem is we have so much money. We have more money than we know how to spend. Right.
So at what point do you decide to sell everything to Blackstone? I think you said $10 billion.
When I can tear their head off. When I can tear their head off, and they don't care about it. Like I'm gonna be like, guys, I'm gonna tear your head off. I'm gonna mount you. I'm gonna put a big award. Okay, and they're like, yeah, dude, that's exactly what we expect you to do. And because their platform is this, we're going to take what you put together. You solved our problem for us. Like a builder built that. They took advantage of me. They're like, they're going to regret selling that to me.
Yeah.
But their model is, I need to build it and sell it and get my money.
So
my model is, I'm going to put it together for Blackstone because their biggest problem is they need billions of dollars at a time to get rid of this money that they raise. And they're not going to care. They don't care. They're going to make their money out of their little laboratory.
Got it. So let's switch gears for a little bit. You have Cardone U, right? No, we're gonna come back. So you got Cardone U, you got Cardone Capital. Everything. Yeah. This place exudes sales, right? So if you were to pin down the top 3 things or common denominators among the best salespeople in the world, what would you say they are? Just three.
Well, number one best salespeople in the world, not salespeople. They're business people.
Okay.
So they're the best salespeople I've ever met in my life, and it really confused me for a long time because I learned how to be a good salesman. Meaning, first thing I learned was how to handle objections, how to handle rejection, how not to look discouraged, how to handle my facial features so that when you said no, I could still, thank you. I learned how to agree with people. These are very, very difficult technologies to learn. Now, the guys that I met later, particularly in real estate, that were the best salespeople, commercial real estate guys like Givens, Art Wadlin, Robert, that I'm working with up in Maryland right now. These guys, they're not slick talkers, and they don't handle objections. They build a business. The best salespeople are great business people. Okay. Jeff Bezos is a great salesman. Yeah. Steve Jobs was an unbelievable salesman. Bill Gates, great salesman. Warren Buffett, phenomenal. Can't even tell you. You don't even see that the old man's selling you all the time. So that's what makes a great salesman, is to think like a business person. Okay. Not Jay-Z says, hey, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man. I'm a business. I am a business, right? And so once you become a business, you say to be a great business, you have to be great at collecting revenue.
Sure. All right. So looking back on your career, what's the best piece of advice you ever got?
The best piece of advice I ever got was not God, I've gotten so much good advice, but it's not a piece of advice I got, it's a piece of advice I discovered. Okay. Like
give it to us.
You're spending too much time selling and not enough time marketing.
So how would you distinguish the two?
I was, when I tell people, look, don't go small, go big. I'm not talking to them, I'm talking to myself. Every speaker, author, everybody writing books, on stage talking, they're not talking to the audience. When the guy's sitting there saying, life balance, life balance, life balance, he is trying to figure out life balance. He's struggling with this thing himself.
Okay.
This is a little inside trick, secret to audiences that watch speakers. Everything somebody tells you from stage, they are trying to figure out themselves. So when I tell you guys 10x, go bigger, I'm telling you that because I know doing 16 units is harder to keep, to profit, and to go to sleep at night than doing that deal right there. I did 16 units because I had enough money to buy 16 units. I didn't look at that because I thought I had a money problem. Okay. I thought the truth is I was lazy. I did what was easy. When you're buying real estate with a budget, it's because you're doing it because you haven't thought about how do the big boys do it? Oh, they go raise money. Why does Blackstone raise $20 billion when their target was 15? And they do it in 3 days. Why do they do that? Because they market. They market themselves. They spend lots of money in locations. They spend money endlessly to make sure they're in the market. So the best piece of advice that I never got was just an observation of the most successful companies. Spend money, time, and energy on marketing, which in the last 4, 5, 6 years we fixed.
Yeah, I know. So now your studio's quadrupled from the last time I was here in the last year.
Yeah, now we are. Look, we had 42,000 people join me Saturday registered for a webinar.
That's nuts.
42,000 more people than lived in the town that I lived in. So we've done a good job over the last 7 or 8 years, not just working hard, but figuring out how do I market myself so people buy from people they know. Oh, yeah, they don't buy from people they trust. They buy from people they know. If they don't know me, they can't do business with me. So this is what I said at the Real Deal before I left. I said, hey, look, leave here and say something about me. I don't care if it's good or if it's bad. Just please say something about me. So I think marketing is senior to sales. And the next piece of advice is get money to work for you. Once you make a sale, get that money to go work. Don't sit on cash.
All right, lightning round. I did tell you 15, 20 minutes. It is
You're good, man. You're good. You're all good, man. Shit, you waited that long.
I did. Well, you know.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get them over down. I got to get them to 10 questions though. You guys got to count it down. What question are we on right now? Okay?
Well, we keep back. We're going off script here.
No, we're doing good. We're doing good. There's no script.
One word, very short answers. Toughest moment in your life.
Oh man, dude. Toughest moment in my life. First day of treatment center when I was 25.
All right. One thing you do on a daily basis to change your life for the better.
I write my goals down every day.
Right, every day.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water, every day.
Well, I'm not perfect at anything, but I try to write them down in the morning and again at night.
Interesting. Okay.
Right, I write them physically down, like on a piece of paper, like whatever's around me. I'll just start writing them down. I am worth $10 billion.
Got it. Okay.
No clue, no date, no idea how to do it, no time spent on mechanics. Like right now, I just had this idea. I own a helicopter. All right, I put a hospital.
So what you should do is you should go rent at 1000 Museum.
Yeah,
right?
I know. The dude that they want to get me over there.
Louis Bergman, I'll get you connected with Louis.
Yeah. I don't know if
Louis was on the
I
show.
can't buy a place. I can't buy a
You can rent it.
I like to rent.
Listen, it's got a helicopter pad. It's the only
I need a helicopter. I'd love to have a helicopter.
Louis Bergman.
By the way, a helicopter would make me more money than a house would.
Okay. Well, okay, so Albert Purcell, he's on the show. Guy drives two Ferraris.
Albert who?
Purcell in California.
Okay.
So Albert's always talking about how
Albert doesn't know what he's talking about.
No?
Look at him where he is in a cycle. Okay. You need to get no offense. No, please don't take offense, folks. He's going to regret that.
The Ferraris.
Yes.
Why?
Because I know he believes. I probably should leave it alone.
All right, leave it alone. Because
but
well, we're live. There's no going back. This is out there.
It's all good. I'm just saying, we've seen enough people go busted. Like you make when you do. He's going to say that's advertising. A Ferrari's not fucking advertising. Okay, that's not advertising.
Okay.
I didn't buy this plane to advertise. I bought the plane to get me 6 hours and do 4 or 5 cities. Like it's not an advertising. You don't spend $50 million to advertise your name. You buy a billboard.
Okay.
You want to brand yourself? You buy a billboard. You buy an office building, put your name on it. You spend money in advertising and marketing. You don't buy a Ferrari.
Okay.
That's a car. It's a 2-seater car. Okay. Now, you buy a jet. I'm like, I can do 5 cities in one day. I've done 5 cities in one day. I've done 3 states and 5 cities in one day, getting in front of clients. So they don't even see the plane.
So rather than the Ferrari, if you can't afford the jet, buy a jet. Do what Jesse Itzler did. Marquee jet, get the jet membership, and
yeah. And look, maybe you can buy a Ferrari. I wasn't doing that well when I was 35 years old. I was busting my ass every day, going out to see clients every day. Albert works out every day. At 35 years old, I was cold calling. I didn't live in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. Like I'm knocking on doors, dude. He's got to lift up more than I had because I was hustling.
Got it.
I was trying to get money that month.
Sure. Well, it's a different era too, right? Like you didn't have social media like you do today,
Yeah, totally.
So, and
I didn't have a nice.
You
car.
work out every day now.
I didn't have a nice car until I was 45 years old. I had my first European car when I was 45.
But you work out every day now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you're a beast, you're strong as shit. Biggest fear.
And look, I do stupid stuff with money too. So like it's not. I mean, I got both his Ferraris on my wrist right now. So I don't mind doing stupid stuff, but I do it. This is when I do stupid stuff. Number 1, I do it when it's passive income only.
Okay.
Number 2, when I can buy 2 of them. If I can't buy 2 of them, I don't do it. When I bought that jet, I could buy 2 of them. Okay. And number 3, particularly when it's something stupid, you need to know that, hey, it's stupid. Don't try to make sense of it like he's doing.
Okay.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. Dude, just say that it's stupid and you're all right with it.
Got it. All right, fair enough. Biggest fear.
Biggest fear. Shit.
Yeah, you got
Boogeyman.
No,
come on. Boogeyman.
Something's got to give you heartache.
I'm scared that maybe. No, I'm not going to say this. This is a joke. Somebody will cut it. But
there ain't no cutting. This is live, man. There ain't no cutting.
Yeah. No, they would cut it out and use it against me later. So I just edited that. Biggest fear is that that I wouldn't live up to my full potential.
Do you think you're living up to your full potential now?
Not quite.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So let me go off script here again. We're going to get to that 10.
Yeah.
What are you lacking to get to your full potential?
Scale.
Just scale.
Yeah,
so you have all the ingredients.
Should I be in this building, or should I be in New York?
Okay. So
should I be in a what game am I playing here? What am I doing every day?
You're not going to New York. You're staying away from New York.
Yeah, that's right. And I wouldn't go to New York, but what I'm saying is that UBS building right there? Why don't I own that? Why don't I own that and have it fully occupied? Why don't I have 1,000 employees over here, not 170?
Okay, let's go.
And how can I make a contribution so I can start funding hospitals, not helicopters?
Got it. Okay.
Firemen. I could fund firemen and rather than Ferraris.
Sure. All right. Talk to me about GrowthCon. Who's been your favorite speaker so far at GrowthCon? Outside of you or an
Yeah. My favorite speakers are definitely my kids going up there.
Okay. So outside of your kids,
outside of
Cardone family.
If they weren't my kids, I'd be like, wow, dude, I just watched an 8-year-old talk to 35,000 people.
Okay.
Write their own presentation, walk out on stage, and say, they wrote their own deals. I said, look, you got 3 minutes. 3-minute presentation is a tough presentation to make. And like if I would have had that kind of experience when I was 8 years old, 10 years old, oh my God. Now outside of that, I love every speaker we've ever had. I love. There was 2 that I didn't like.
Okay.
That I would never ever have back again.
Got it. All right.
You don't want to go there, huh?
No, it's your show.
Do y'all know who they were? 2 of them.
It's your show.
I would never. This is your show. I'm your guest. Two speakers I had. I would never have them ever again. Makes me sick to my stomach that we had them. Won't happen again. And because I like real people.
Okay.
I'm a real person guy. Like if you're a fraud, I'm gonna call you out.
All right, so call him out.
I know
you're the one that offered.
No, you guys can guess. Okay, if you've been to my growth conferences.
All right, let's narrow it down. Which one?
No.
Posting comments.
Posting comments. Get the introduction, okay? And there's people I regret not having too. There's a whole bunch of people that I could have had that I didn't have. There's people we got in play that I want to have. This next one that we're doing in Vegas is going to be off the freaking hooks. Were you at the last one?
I was not.
Oh my God.
I was out of town. I was out of town for a soccer tournament.
So I'm going to tell you one of the proudest moments of my entire life.
Okay.
When we did the Miami conference, 34,298 people or some ridiculous number. Most people that have ever been in Marlins Stadium.
Yep.
And Sherry, my COO, says, "Hey Grant, what's your goal? Of this thing, other than us filling it up?" Because everybody knew, hey, we got to sell every seat. We sold every seat and some. So I said, "Look, my goal is that people walk in, and the second they walk in, they don't even get to their seat. They just look around and say, 'Wow, dude, I got to do everything different.'"
Okay.
I've had, I don't know, probably 50 people tell me, "Grant, when I walked into your place," I had a lady, she's like, "I walked into your place and I said, I'm in the right place and I'll never do my life again the way I've been doing it." That's how big this thing was. You could just feel quality. Like when you walk in the studio, you're like, wow, this place is nice. You walk into the building, the people are great here.
When I was walking in, when was it? Annie was walking me back. Yeah. I'm like, man, this place is always buzzing. It's always fucking buzzing.
Yeah. So like, even though out there in the e-commerce thing, maybe gets a B-roll of this, the carpet's torn up and it's dry, but the energy in the place. I'm not talking about a false energy. I'm not talking about something we create or like, it's like
get all checked up. No, it's like a freaking beehive.
No, it's just you can feel energy, right? And we're not always being, productive, but you can feel there's some purpose running through the organization.
Right.
And that was the proudest moment, is that people walked into 10X and could feel, hey, there's something different happening here. It's truly not about me anymore. It's about, there is a movement. There is something as big about 10X as there was back when you were in the 50s and 60s. When you were being thought of.
Not even.
70s. Back in that era where the middle class was the thing your parents wanted to get into or your grandparents wanted to get into, how big that was.
Sure.
The 10X movement is going to become that big of a movement.
So I have a speaker suggestion. She wanted
to
please. Heather Monahan.
Oh yeah, love Heather.
She's like, you gotta tell Grant to get
gorgeous, great, got a lot of experience, great with women, great with men. Like,
what's interesting about gorgeous? We've had a lot of, let's say gorgeous or pretty women on the show and all that stuff. And nowadays, the times have changed. It only gets you so far, man. It may open the door, but if there's no contribution there, it doesn't matter.
Dude, my good looks have held me down. Okay, one of my big deficits is my good looks.
Oh, why?
Because you don't think that that's a deficit for you?
A deficit?
Yeah, you got good looks.
I do. Thank you.
I guarantee you. Like it causes people to make certain decisions about you.
Give me an example. So give me an example. What do you mean? Clarify that for me.
You got a good head of hair, and he doesn't have a good head of hair, and he's like, hey, I don't like that. But
well, people don't like the fact that I had the show. They think I'm cocky just because I started the show, and I'm like, dude, there's there are 65,000 realtors in Dade and Broward County.
Yeah.
The reason I started the show was because where do realtors play? What's the sandbox they're playing in? Social media.
Yeah.
So if I can sit down with the Grant Cardones of the world, you're the one and only. But let's say other people like you. Right? People pay attention. And all of a sudden, we've recruited over 100 agents. It got me out of a lawsuit. Like it's done. My Rolodex is huge now because of the show. It's done amazing things. You know.
Yeah. There's not 65,000 agents here, though.
There are 65,000 licensed realtors in Dade and Broward County.
Okay, well, maybe.
I'm not saying they do business. I'm saying there are 65,000.
They're not even like you can't even count those people.
Okay. Who do you look to?
There's maybe 10,000.
If that.
So you guys that are the 65,000, you don't even need to worry about 55,000 of them. You need to study maybe study 65 of them at most.
Yep.
Study the 1%. And treat the rest of them just like they don't exist.
Interesting you say
don't
that.
Study them, don't learn them, don't watch them, don't eat breakfast with them, don't hang with them.
Starting November 1.
Hang with this dude.
Starting November 1, we're bringing in transaction coordinators, which essentially are assistants to the agents, right? We're the only brokerage in South Florida that's doing that. Some of them have it virtually. We have them in our office. Why? Yeah. You look at Dora Puig, number one agent down here. Nelson Gonzalez, right up there. Julian Johnson, Michael Citron, the guy from Remax. My number one agent closes the Jills. My number one agent closes over 100 deals a year.
Yeah.
They're not busy with fucking paperwork.
Yeah.
They're out. They're face to face.
There's no money in paperwork.
No
great business person should be doing paperwork.
Right. There you go. So my realtors, now you know why we're doing it. Who do you look to for advice now? Who are you going to for advice?
Yeah, I go to ballers.
Give me one. If right now, if you had to make a business decision and you had to call somebody for advice, who are you calling on your cell phone?
If I had to call somebody about it, I probably wouldn't do it.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. That's pretty deep.
Yeah.
All right. Something we'd be surprised to know about you that nobody knows about. We'll circle back to it. We'll go stay on that for a second. So you feel like if you need to call somebody for advice, you shouldn't do it.
I'm not ready to do that deal.
So at what point merits you calling somebody for advice? We're going over, by the way. I don't even know what time.
We're good. Lending. But I'm going to call debt. I'm going to call. My advice is going to come from somebody that's going to service me in a deal.
Okay.
It's not going to come from. I'll tell you. I'll give you an example when I did ask for some advice. Okay. The problem with asking for advice is most of the advice you're going to get is
self-reflective. They're trying to give it to themselves.
Right? They're not talking. They're not talking to you. Like I keep telling people, like you go to your uncle. Hey, uncle, what should I do? He's never even done it.
Yeah.
I'm doing stuff none of my family has ever done. I'm not being cocky when I say that. It is what it is. So, as much as people want mentors, then you go pick somebody that can't mentor you in that. So if you ask somebody what to do with money, most people are going to say save your money and buy a house and pay your house off. That's Dave Ramsey.
That's what I'm asking. Like you are, Tom Bilyeu, guy founded Quest Nutrition, net worth $500 million. I asked him the question. He goes, if I go to advice, I go to somebody who's done what I want to do at least 3 times over.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Or somebody that can at least, maybe he hadn't done it, but it can at least, he's outside this. Like when I asked a couple people about the jet, I knew the jet was the right thing for me to do. And I went to my accountant. I said, hey, what do you think? He's like, man, nothing about it makes sense. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I've been trying to go over and make sense of it. You can't make sense of it.
Got it.
Okay, it's not a bag of groceries. It's not milk for the kids. It's not like it's a jet. So I went to my lawyer. I said, hey, what's the downside of this? Blah, blah, blah. He gives me all the reasons not to buy one. I asked a buddy of mine who can't buy a jet, hey, what do you think? Oh, man, nothing about it makes sense. I read an article, blah, blah, blah. I asked a billionaire. I said, hey, he was worth $4 billion. And I said, hey, I'm thinking about buying a jet, and this is how much it costs, and this is what I'm going to do. And he's like, absolutely, you should do it. And I'm like, well, why do you say that? He's like, Grant, man, you're on offense. You're on offense. You have multiple businesses. Every time if you go to Wichita on that, or you go to Wisconsin, or you go to LA, do you have business there? I said, yeah. He's like, can you do real estate deals there? Yeah. Can you do your Cardone on demand there? Yes. Can you talk to automobile dealers? Yes. He's like, well, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Well, I don't know why you hadn't bought it already.
Got it.
Now the question is, how big of jets you going to buy? And I said, do you have one? He's like, no. I said, why not? He's like, he could buy 10 of mine and still have $3.5 billion left over. He's like, Grant, I don't have it. I don't have a reason. I don't have a mission. So you got to have a mission. You got to have the money. You got to have the mission.
Sure.
And so you got to ask the mentor, the guy you're asking advice for. You got to ask, is he in alignment with your mission? right? Is he in alignment with where you're going, where you want to go? If you ask Steve Jobs, if Steve was alive today and says, Steve, does money matter? One of the last things he said is money doesn't matter. But in his 20s, it mattered.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out where you're getting that advice from. Where in that guy's cycle are you getting advice from?
All right.
To understand what it means to you.
Right. 2 last questions. Yeah. What's something that we'd be surprised to know about you that's not out there already? Because you're everywhere.
Dude, what is not known about me, guys? Y'all know anything that's not known about me?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I don't know. I'm a micromanager.
Are you really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Micromanager in what? In metrics?
Anything I want to get done.
Okay.
I want to get a project done. I'm going to be like, show it to me. Like we've got a little campaign going right now. I want to know every little detail about it right now.
All right.
Until we get it right.
You like those mints.
Yeah, they're right. I mean, what do people not know about me? I don't know. I like to take naps.
No shit.
I love naps, dude. I love naps.
No.
He didn't know it.
No, I didn't know it. No.
I love naps. Love them.
Dude, you're like the Energizer batter at fucking money.
I actually love sleep. Okay. I would rather sleep in the mornings. Like that extra hour in the morning, that 1 hour. Like not going too deep, just kind of in the middle. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I love that.
All right. Last question. Book, podcast, or TED Talk recommendation for the audience. All three, one of three.
Book,
podcast, or TED Talk recommendation.
What do you mean? Recommendation for
like reading, like if the audience should pick up a book and read it, which one should it be? If they've never read a book of yours,
what am I? Oh,
any of the books.
Well, I wouldn't read one book of a person.
Okay.
But I would. Like if I'm going to read anything on Bobby, I want to read everything on Bobby. So I understand what this one piece of work was.
All right.
Otherwise, you're seeing it out
of
context.
What book should they start off with you? What's the first one?
Probably the Millionaire booklet, a little 44-page booklet on money.
And then go to
if you want to do money. If you want to do real estate, go to How to Create Wealth Investing in Real Estate. Okay. But you want to come back and see the other books to see how a guy thinks, right? To hear one interview of Warren Buffett, where he is today, out of context of where he came from in his 50s, like you're just not going to get the full flavor and color of who this cat is.
Got it.
And so I think a lot of people, that's the problem with what people are doing today. People don't even read books today. They read a quote.
Yeah.
And so I learned
or they're watching podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. I learned this lesson when I was 38 years old. I was studying a guy. I liked the way he wrote. And I was like, oh my God, that was brilliant. Oh my God, that was brilliant. And who said that, Grant? Oh, this guy. I'm not going to use his name because I don't want to promote him. And the guy looked at me and said, you know he committed suicide, huh? I said, what? I was studying some guy that had the ultimate failure. I'm like, okay, enough. Throw everything in the garbage. That's not where I want to learn the data. Like that's not how I want to end things. So whatever data he was collecting along the way, I know some people would say, well, you're throwing out the baby with the bathwater, but there was some good advice there. It's just that's not how I want to. I want to.
You don't want the same ending.
I want to do well in everything. I want to do well physically, financially, spiritually, familial. With my family, as a father. Like I don't want life balance. I want to explode in all those.
Okay. That's right. Because a lot of people, I've heard you talk about balance before. You're like, who wants balance? I want everything to be overboard.
I want everything to be overfloweth.
Yeah, got it. Grant,
come on, man.
So
come on, man. Thank you,
man. I appreciate it. I'm going to go. Any parting words? I'm going to go turn around, turn that camera off.
Yeah, well, I hope they call me back with that deal. I was negotiating a deal when we started today. I hope you guys are doing great. And if you like the interview, throw it down in comments. If you don't like the interview, please throw it down in comment that you didn't like it. I don't care if you like me or you don't like me. I do care if you don't know me.
There you go. Ooh.